are about to watch a parole revocation hearing. What that means, as many of you already know, is that he was out on parole and it was revoked. We don't yet know the reason why, but it's a pretty intense moment because they're going to decide whether he's going to have to serve out his full time or if he'll get let back out. I did do some homework on him, and he does have an interesting case, which I guess he's on parole on, but he was arrested and given, I think it was like a 3-month sentence for possession. And then retroactively, they had discovered that he classified as a habitual offender, and they threw the book at him and gave him, I think it was 10 years. And to add to that frustration, maybe for him, to that is to be considered an habitual offender, you have to have 3 felonies within a 10-year period. And technically, he didn't have 3 felonies within a 10-year period, but because he was revoked from one of his felonies previously, it had extended the time from the original felony date. Basically, it was a legal technicality which stretched it out just a few months to put him under the umbrella of an habitual offender, which I have to say is incredibly unfair for someone to be looking at his paperwork, decide to do that, and lock someone up for all those extra years for a small possession charge because you wanted to say that they were an habitual offender. And that is just sick, in my opinion. That is sick. I'll paste the link to this satire for all those details in the description. But with that, let's find out why he's been revoked this time and what's going to happen.
Good morning, Mr. Carr. How are you?
Good morning.
Well, Mr. Carr, my name is Alvin Roche, and my left is Ms. Pearl Wise, to my right is Mr. Pete Freeman. We are the parole panel this morning, and we're here for revocation hearing. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a parole revocation questionnaire in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature dated January 12, 2023?
Yes, sir.
All the information is correct?
Yes, sir.
Want to proceed without an attorney this morning?
Yes, sir.
You're here this morning, Mr. Carr, because you've been accused of violating conditions in your parole supervision contract. I'm going to read the charges, and you have an option to plead guilty, guilty with a statement, not guilty, not guilty with a statement. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Carter, the parole board is conducting a revocation hearing as you are accused of violating the following conditions. Condition number 2, you failed to report for the months of October 22, November 22, and December 22. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Condition number 3, you moved from your address of record and failed to get permission before doing so. You left the state of Louisiana without permission, as illustrated by your arrest in Houston, Texas. How do you plead?
Guilty, sir.
Number 9, you moved from your arrest record. You moved from your arrest record, thus, it's a typo. You moved from your address of record and thus not allowing visitors a visit from your parole officer. You could not conduct visits. Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, sir.
And number 10, you fail to pay a payment towards your supervision fee. You're currently in arrears $254. How do you plead?
Guilty, sir.
Your case has been assigned to Mrs. Pearl Wise. Would you please answer Mrs. Wise's question?
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us why you're guilty. Why didn't you comply with conditions of supervision? What's going on?
I'm guilty. Well, I got discharged from Westboro Franklin Parish Facility August 28th. That was on a Sunday. Monday, August 29th, I reported to the parole building that they gave me an address on Portland. The building was abandoned. They gave me a number to call. I called the automated system twice. They said somebody would get with me in 3 days. A week went by. I called again with my mother. Nobody ain't get with me. So I left and went to Houston for a better life because most of my family's in Houston. It wasn't me not trying to report. I didn't know who my parole officer was, where to report. 2 months of me probably being in society. My parole officer just popped out the blue saying I got the report, which I wasn't financially stable just to up and leave, which I stated that. That's why I say I was guilty for going out of town. It wasn't me running or leaving, none of that. I just did 9 years incarcerated. I wanted my freedom to be in society, but I feel like it was unprofessional of Orleans Parish to have not to have a parole board for me to come home to report to, Miss Pearl.
Okay.
It wasn't me. Excuse me. It wasn't me not wanting to report or me not trying to run and hide and none of that, Miss Pearl. It just I was waiting. I followed all protocols. I was just waiting on my parole officer to give me. I didn't know who my parole officer was or where to report.
I got that. I get that. I get what you're saying.
Yes, ma'am.
But you did have a phone number where you could reach somebody. Have you ever been on parole before? Did you get your copy of conditions?
Yeah, I got my copy, but this is my first time being on parole, ma'am.
First time being on parole, and you got your copy of your conditions, so you knew what you're supposed to do and not supposed to do.
Yes, ma'am.
And the officer did. When you did start communicating with your officer, you were already out of state.
Yes, ma'am.
No, your officer could have just went on and got a warrant. She didn't have to give you an opportunity to come back. You just could have got a warrant.
Yes, ma'am.
To come back. You do recognize that, though.
Yes, ma'am. And like I stated with my parole officer, she told me to report Friday. I stated to her, well, I didn't have basically around that time.
I get that. I totally get that. But you also understand that when an officer found out that you were already in Houston, Texas, she didn't have to give you a chance to come in. She could have just got a warrant.
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
So I want to make sure you see that there was some effort to work with you.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. I understand.
Did you call her back and say, I can't come this Friday, but I can come next Friday?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I called instead. I said I want to try to find a bus ticket to get to Orleans because I wasn't financially stable. I was living basically in a hotel. Like I didn't have no finances. I didn't have no ID.
So my question to you was, the officer said, I need you here Friday. I can't get here Friday, but I can get here next Wednesday, something like that. Did you do that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
what
ma'am.
Did you tell her? I didn't see that. What did you tell her?
I told her it was the last Friday when she called, she said you were supposed to report Friday. She said, are you going to be here next Friday? I said, yes, ma'am, I'm going to try to make it.
Okay, so she gave you 2 Fridays to get in.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. That's all I have, Tim.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Carr, would you like to make a brief statement?
Yes, sir. My statement is, it's my first time being on parole. I'm not a career criminal. I just want to have another chance to be in society. I feel like this is a minor infraction. You know, and I feel like whatever decision that y'all gonna have, I respect it humbly and respectfully. I'm just gonna respect y'all decision.
Thank you, Mr. Carr.
Yes, sir.
It's a better ready to vote.
Yes, I'm ready to vote.
That's why.
And Mr. Carr, you after just doing 8 years, I would have liked to see a little more on your part.
Yes, ma'am.
Effort to comply. For me, in lieu of revocation, I'm gonna order you to do 9 months jail time, and then we return to supervision.
Yes, ma'am.
With conditions that you report weekly. You report weekly to probation parole until you get a transfer. Would you be able to do that? Would you be able to live in New Orleans?
Yes, ma'am. I can live in New Orleans, but yes, ma'am. I can live in New Orleans.
Are you sure? Now, if you can't now, I don't want to set you up to fail. You'll be right back.
I can live in New Orleans. It's just that's why I got family in Houston, Texas. That's why I went to Houston, Texas, so I have better lifestyle.
If you go and start that, you didn't get arrested. There's no new charges, no indication of drug use. That speaks volumes to me. You stayed out of trouble.
Yes, ma'am.
That is my vote.
Mr. Freeman.
I'm one, so
Yeah, how much can you give him? In lieu
you
of
can
everything?
give him that.
What you thinking?
6 months.
Okay, 6 months, I concur.
Any credit for time served?
Yes, yeah.
I agree with her in lieu of revocation, but I say 6 months with credit for time served. So you'll get credit for those 3 months you served. Make sure you keep up with your probation officer and don't be cocky with them. I read some statements in there I really didn't like, but who knows? That was their interpretation. So that's my vote.
Yes, sir.
You have received
I recommend executive session because confidential matters related to this case.
Second.
Is that the proper movement second that we go into executive session before the vote is complete? We'll be back in a few seconds.
A few things. One is
Yes.
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 there's a few things I'm confused about. One is, like I said at the beginning, what I'm looking at does show him with a long record and as an habitual offender, but it's possible that Eric Carr is a popular name and I just have the wrong filing. So if I do, I apologize for that discretion. I'll assume that I do right now. I'll assume that he doesn't, that I just had the wrong case. Now, interesting that they're going on an executive session. I like what Mr. Freeman said. Bring it down to just 6 months. Give him another 3 months with time served. Let him out. I mean, it's like the same. You don't need to be, if you're going to let him out, like, don't be so harsh with giving 9 months, right? But now, what is Mr. O'Shea thinking? What is he trying to figure out here? Is he going to? I don't think he's throwing down the gauntlet and denying. He would just deny it. I do believe him that he tried to go to the parole center and it was closed or things like that. I could see things like that happening.
6 months, 3 months for credit for time served. What that mean? I'll keep it real with him, man.
They left the mic on. But it's interesting how he's like he's went to Texas because he's family there, but then he's stuck in a motel. He said that too. But man, I mean, I've seen them throw away the key and not take any compassion for people. He left the state. That's considered a pretty serious offense. But let's see.
Roll is back in session. Time is 9:24. The panel will continue to vote. Ms. Wise, would you like to amend your decision?
Yes, sir. Based on our deliberations, my vote is for you to serve. Now, in lieu of revocation, I find you guilty of all the allegations as per your pleading guilty. To send you 9 months to transition to work program, and you are to initiate your ICOS transfer to Texas during your time in work relief. And if you're not accepted by Texas, I want you to report weekly to probation parole for the first 4 weeks after you're out and start that transfer at that time. And all the other conditions remain in place.
Yes, ma'am.
I concur with this one.
Now, Mr. Carr, let me explain what we just did. We pled guilty to all the charges, but didn't commit any crime while you were on supervision, except for leaving Louisiana without permission. So we're gonna put you in a transitional work program where you can earn some money, maybe develop a new skill, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find a permanent job. You understand what we just did?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah. And at the end of your transitional work program, you will be released. And if you do well on this job, they may offer you a permanent job. And if they don't offer you a permanent job, you'll have some money set aside. You'll have your approved ICOT use in Texas. You'll have a little money to start your life over again, okay?
Yes, sir.
The decision of the board is to, in lieu of revocation, assign Mr. Carr to a 9-month transitional work program. That is our decision. You have a good day.
He does not seem happy about that at all. He's actually pouting like a little baby. I mean, it looked like he's just it was interesting. They were going to actually give him just 6 months and with time served, and now it's 9 months. I don't think it's with time served. They wanted to give him the opportunity to request the transfer, the ICOS, which takes time, and give him work release so he could save up money, which from the information they had, which was he's down and out in a motel room and doesn't have anything, it seems like they're trying to actually help him so he can stay out. And I commend the board for taking the time to think that through. Mr. Richet taking the time to say, how can I help this young man? And he did not want any piece of it. I mean, he was just like, he did not care. And I don't know what full sentence he was looking at for his, like another 10 years in prison. Like without that information, it's also hard to really know what he's up against. But in the sense of bettering this, his situation, it seems like it's like a great thing that they did. He doesn't seem to care. With that, I'll let you go.